Today, we're going to be looking at the biggest creep that GTA has ever seen. Everyone's favorite radio host slash TV host and more, Laszlo Jones. Laszlo was born presumably sometime in 1962 and was in a band during his high school days. He flunked out of high school because he was quote unquote too hardcore, and his radio career began sometime before 1984. And at the age of 22 in 1984, he was an intern for a radio station called V-Rock, and soon after he became the sidekick of the DJ who was the main host of the V-Rock radio station. His name was Cousin Ed, and if you listen to that radio station in Vice City Stories, you'll hear that the two kind of hated each other, and Ed was mostly mocking Laszlo for his shitty DJ skills, and they also had different political views, which also fueled the hate. The very next year, in 1985, Laszlo left the radio station and went to broadcasting school. Around 1986, Laszlo applied for a job at the same radio station and got the job, and soon became the main DJ on the V-Rock radio station, and his former colleague would call to make fun of him from time to time. While working there, Laszlo got a giant ego, and eventually he got fired sometime between 1986 and 1992 for complaining about his pay and breaking something in the studio. And in 1992, he was in Los Santos and was working on the West Coast Talk Radio and was hosting a show known as Entertaining America. The most known thing during this time period was his interview with OG Loc, and since he was kind of out of touch with how things worked in 1992 compared to the 80s, while interviewing OG Loc, Laszlo made this guy so triggered that he pointed a gun at Laszlo's head, and by this point Laszlo was also addicted to drugs and alcohol, and this is where the title and the thumbnail of this video come in play. This absolute degenerate piece of shit did stuff with his mother, and I'm not gonna go into detail, but I think that you can make a pretty good guess. After this, he lost his job on West Coast Talk Radio, and he was apparently working in Malaysia for a time digging sewage waste. And also, real quick before we continue with the video, I want to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, that would help me out a lot. Feel free to check out my channel memberships as well, that would help me out. And one last thing, feel free to check out my Kingdom Hearts channel where I do the cage content nowadays. That's going to be in the description below. By 1998, Laszlo went to Liberty City and was hosting yet another talk show known as Chatterbox, and was associated with Donald Love from Liberty City. In 2001, Laszlo and Donald Love took over the Liberty City Free Radio, which is the radio station that Laszlo was hosting that Chatterbox show on in 1998, and they renamed it in 2001 to Chatterbox FM. Now, Laszlo does mention in 2001 that he is, or at least was, married at one point, but nothing else is known about his married life, and it's interesting to look at how his personality changed throughout the games as they came out, as in GTA 3, which was the first game in the 3D universe, despite taking place after Vice City Stories, and Liberty City Stories. Here he was a bit more sane and normal, if that's what you want to call it, and he would often seem shocked at the people that he interviewed by the things they said. However, as later games were releasing, his personality changed into more and more of a creep and weirdo, to say the least, hence why the original details of why and how he lost most of his jobs in radio were never really too clear. But Laszlo really turns that creep label up to the fucking moon, and in GTA 4 and GTA 5, while also generally being a joke and being a character Rockstar made fun of and used for players to get a laugh out of if they decided to listen to the radio. In 2002, Laszlo lost his job again. This time we know that it was due to the fact that he took money from people to play their songs on the radio. He was also divorced by this point, as he drugged a woman and brought her to the house that he shared with his wife. His ex-wife later married his best friend, and Laszlo got obsessive over her for the next few years and was possibly stalking her for a time. He was also arrested and had numerous creepy charges, to say the least, which I'll put on screen right now. Not only was he himself by this point unhinged as fuck and a creep, to say the least, but he also had the those kind of people on his show, and the things that happened there and the things that were discussed there are so bad that I don't think I can even mention that shit on YouTube, even though it's a game. If you really want the specifics of all that, if you're that curious, check out the GTA Wiki for more details. Now, we get to the real shit in GTA 5. Laszlo, he makes his first physical appearance there, and by this point it's 2013. He's again working on West Coast Talk Radio, but more importantly, he is on the reality slash talent show, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Fame or Shame, where he is again mocked, but this time by the judges of the reality slash talent show. And guess what? He also accepted quote-unquote favors, if you know what I mean, from contestants to advance them to the final. He is next seen in the mission Fame or Shame when Michael's daughter Tracy is auditioning for the show and dancing in an inappropriate manner. Michael understandably loses his shit and pushes Laszlo, after which him and Trevor chase Laszlo all the way to the Los Santos River. This duo eventually catch up to Laszlo, and this leads to one of the funniest scenes where Trevor forces Laszlo to take off his pants and dance while mocking him and also getting out his phone to record the whole thing before implying that he'll post it everywhere online before Laszlo runs away. Later on in the mission reuniting the family, Tracy is talking to Laszlo at the tattoo shop and wants to get back on Fame or Shame, and he agrees in exchange for yet another favor. And Michael and Jimmy overhear this whole thing, and angry Michael then does some cosmetic work on Laszlo, such as piercing his eyebrow, nose, and ear, cutting off his ponytail as well, and in the classic rockstar humor fashion, he tattoos a dick on his chest or back, depends on what you as the player chose. He then again appears in an episode of Fame or Shame after Tracy's performance and attempts to get her to win, but she loses because the judges voted for someone else. The last time he is seen in the mission Meltdown, and it seems like he's now working for Weasel News at the Vinewood Theater. He's interviewing people there, but as soon as he spots Michael, he shits himself and runs inside. He also appears in GT Online in the first cutscene to the After Hours DLC in 2018, and is still just as big of a joke as he was back in 1984. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video. Of course, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Until next video stream, bye bye.